It's a big celebration. I'll make sure my team writes down the date, and we'll follow up and see what we can do. Thank you as well. Another question? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Hirat. And first of all, I want to just thank you and your government. During the pandemic, how you support us, how you manage that. Especially I remember that beautiful day, beat us and mentally. So thank you for that. My question is, as a labor or middle class, and you already mentioned, and you think you're mentioning, but the recession, or is there any, or could you please, if there are long-term that can support for our income as a laborer, that they can afford their mortgage, their credits, something like this. So, and the wage, they might be something like this. So, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Heron. Listen, cost of living concerns, the cost of paying the bills, is a huge challenge for Canadians right now. So even as in this most recent budget, one of the things that we're leaning in on is creating those great jobs for the future in critical minerals, in resources, in manufacturing, in all the kinds of solutions and infrastructure builds that are going to be necessary for the future. We also made the first part of the budget all about supports for people right now. And it's a little bit tricky because we're at a time where finally inflation is about to go down. We should hopefully, like I said, get to around 3% this summer, which will be very good news for everyone. And we do not want to put that at risk by injecting too much money willy-nilly into the economy, which is why we chose, because if we spend too much, and some provinces have been spending a lot lately, it will force the Bank of Canada to raise interest rates even more. And that takes a longer time because it costs families, and it raises mortgage rates, which is something we don't want. So we've been very, very targeted in our supports on inflation. A big piece of it, for example, is the grocery rebate that we just announced. It's going to be hundreds of dollars, $467 for, up to $467 for a family of four that qualifies for it. It'll be delivered through the GST rebate, which hits 11 million Canadians, and it should come in the coming months. It's one of those things that is going to require speedy passage through the House, and we hope that all politicians in the House of Commons support it. It's the kind of thing I think we're going to be able to see unanimous support on to make sure that that check gets out to families very, very quickly, because pressures are on now. But there's also other things that we've done, and even though it may seem obvious that yes, that should happen through the House quickly, some other things that were obvious didn't go through the House of Commons quickly. For example, we decided last year that it was time to bring in dental benefits in Canada. There are far too many parents who can't send their kids to the dentist because they don't make enough, or they make slightly too much to qualify for the lowest income benefit for dental. They don't have insurance through work, and either their kids go without dental treatments, or they have to really squeeze, more likely they have to squeeze in on a lot of other spending so that they can afford to get their kids' teeth fixed. And it was as simple for me as saying, you know, a country as wealthy as Canada shouldn't be a country in which you can look at someone smile and figure out how much money their parents made when they were growing up. That's not the kind of country we want to be. So we move forward on a dental program right away for kids 12 and under from families that don't have insurance or make under $90,000 a year. And it's already helped about 250,000 kids go to the dentist. By the end of this year, it'll be kids under 18, seniors, and Canadians living with disabilities. And within a few years, it'll be all Canadians making less than $90,000 who don't have dental insurance. This is something that really matters. It's obvious that it's something that's going to have tremendous well-being for all Canadians. And yet the Conservatives voted against it. So even an idea as great as grocery rebate that's going to really tangibly help, when Conservatives say, no, 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 you can't, fix kids' teeth, that's inflationary, they demonstrate that perhaps they're not there to fight for affordability as much as they have. So I'm hoping we're going to be able to get that through, but the dental care is one of the things we've done. Another thing that, again, unfortunately, Conservatives campaigned against was childcare. For 50 years, governments of all different stripes have known, it was one of the first recommendations on the Commission on the Status of Women from 50 years ago, that childcare is one of the most powerful opportunities to level the playing field, to get women into the workforce, to support families, to give kids the best start in life. And yet nothing was done on it until we had a window after the pandemic where so many people had suddenly seen what happens when the kids are staying at home and you're trying to work and realize it just doesn't work, that we were able to leap on that and make it happen. And actually, to Manitoba's credit, they're one of the first provinces to get to $10 a day, a couple of years ahead of schedule. And that $10 a day child care, Tanya was just talking about it, coming back from maternity leave, makes a huge difference. I mean, at a time where the cost of living is going up for everyone, having affordable child care saves hundreds of dollars a month for many families. You layer that on top of the Canada Child Benefit that we brought in 2018, that Conservatives also campaigned against. We've seen a reduction of poverty of about 2.7 million people across this country, lifting about 500,000 kids out of poverty over the past few years. And these are the kinds of things that are not just social programs or anti-poverty programs, they are programs that actually create prosperity as women can get into the workforce, as our workforce is growing, as kids get the best start through school, all these things that have long consequences. So these are the kinds of things that we're going to continue to do, and the best thing we can do to make sure that you're able to afford your mortgage, afford groceries, all those sorts of things, or afford your rent, is continue to grow the economy, continue to build this country by working with MBT and the building trades across the country, but also make sure that we're supporting hardworking families with initiatives like the Canada Workers Benefit, that again, for families with no kids but have real challenges, it's a top-up on their salaries to be able to make sure that they're much better off working than going on provincial assistance programs. These are the kinds of things that we're going to continue to do because we want you to succeed. We need you to succeed. So thank you, Haran. Another question.